Hello, I'm Dr. Moira Fitzpatrick, and welcome to the Daily Doc. This week we've been talking about, hopefully many of you are doing a mental cleanse, where you're becoming aware of your thinking and noticing those places where you tend to go down the rabbit hole, and instead using an anchor thought or a centering thought, such as, everything always works out for me. And then yesterday we talked about emotions and the way we hold tension in the body. And when we hold emotions, which are the fuel for our thinking, then we have a tendency to react rather than respond in the present moment. And today we're going to talk about sugar and the effect of sugar on the immune system, the effect of sugar on our brain and our daily lives. Hence our mood and our relationships. So when you think about sugar, it's in everything. In addition to all the usual suspects of muffins and candy and protein bars, there's also processed food. So you think about sucrose and dextrose and fructose, anything that has an OSE has sugar in it. So today, we're really going to focus on awareness. What is your general pattern of dysglycemia, which is a word meaning an imbalance in your blood sugar? And this can be anything from functional reactive hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar. And some of the ways that you'll recognize that is you'll have a hard time waking up in the morning. And then you'll reach for that cup of coffee, you'll reach for that caffeine, and you won't be hungry, you won't have an appetite, you don't want to eat breakfast. And then you go out through the day, and generally there's a crash between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock where you're reaching for the coffee again. There's a tendency when you have reactive hypoglycemia to feel a little irritable, and maybe your brain doesn't work as well if you haven't eaten in a while. And then after you eat, it's like, wow, look at all the energy I have. And then the other tendency, if you are more reactive hypoglycemia, is to wake up in the middle of the night. Now this puts stress on the adrenals because the brain has to have glucose. And so the adrenals kick in and you start wearing down your adrenal glands, and that affects your stress response. Now on the other end of it, you may have insulin resistance. And there's a tendency there to crave sugars. And no matter how many sweets you have, that craving for sugar doesn't stop. And what insulin resistance means is that there is blood sugar, there's sugar in your bloodstream, and what insulin does is it opens the door, so to speak, so that the glucose can get into the cell. And when you have resistance, then that receptor can't open, that gateway can't open, and you have a buildup of glucose. And so what does that look like? Well, you may be tired in the morning, you may have a tendency to gain weight, you have that fatigue after lunch. You may experience that your hair is thinning. You have that feeling of, even though you eat sugar, you're still craving sugar. And there's a tendency when you have insulin resistance to have difficulty falling asleep at night. So whether you're reactive hypoglycemia or you're insulin resistant, you can see that there is an imbalance. And that affects your mood, that affects your brain, your brain functioning, and it affects your immune system. So what I'd like for you to do today is just become aware of what your tendency is. You have a tendency to not eat frequently and feel that relief after you eat of, wow, I'm energized, or do you feel really tired after you eat? Now, what is normal glucose functioning? Well, it means that between meals you're hungry, you eat, and you're no longer hungry. There's no increase or decrease in energy. So notice what your tendency is, and then tomorrow we'll talk about what you can do to balance your blood sugar. And you may even want to notice how your blood sugar affects your thinking and your emotions. So take care, have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.